Hi, this is cloud engineering assignment recorded demonstration. So before start, if I just brief what I have done in the assignment, it's mainly as specified in the assignment. So we have created three different microservices and then build artifacts and Docker images. So then using AWS command line, I have pushed those images to AWS ECR registry. So from that point, uh, it'll be using a AWS Fargate configuration to create an infrastructure using that configuration. And there'll be Amazon DynamoDB. So I haven't created separate database instances for each and every service. Instead, I am using a common single database for the demonstration purposes. And there'll be three different load balances to access these three different microservice clusters hosted inside AWS Fargate. So that's a little bit of explanation what we are going to do in this assignment. And so if we try to quickly demonstrate this thing, so here I have three different microservices implemented using Spring Boot. So if I open up one, and it has the basic REST controllers for the health and whatever the other operations for the order creation, uh, order retrieval, and get all orders. So I'm not going to go deep into these services. So all three services are implemented in the same manner as explained in the assignment. So when it comes to the deployment, I have created sort of a bat file in order to specify the steps. So initially it'll clean and build the project. So it will create artifacts. In this case, it'll be jar files, and then it'll create the Docker image. So using this command, and then it will, from this point onward, it will prepare this Docker image to the AWS ECR. So it will tag the image, and it will try to create a new repository to keep this particular image. So finally, it will try to push this image to the specified AWS ECR repository. So that will happen. So that will happen for all these three projects. So if I run this one, so so I'll be running this uh, build.bat file, so which is a kind of a combination of the bat files defined inside each project. So each project is having this uh, uh, build.bat file configured that I showed. So for all three projects, this bat file will be executed. So I'll run this one. So before that, I have to prepare my command line, because this building process Gradle uses on Java 10. So my command line is not defaulted to Java 10. So I have to do that. And also I have to log into the AWS CLI. So those things I have specified in another bat file called init. So if I open it up, it just set the JDK path, and it logins to the AWS CLI. So AWS CLI is configured in my machine. So username and the secret, those things are persisted in my home directory. Okay, so I'll try to call this init.bat. Okay. So login succeeded, which means I could able to log into the log into my AWS account using AWS CLI. Then I'll try to call build.bat, which will build all three projects and one by one, and create the Docker images and upload them to AWS ECR. So before starting the upload, I'll quickly show how my ECR is now. You can see there are no repositories. So still it is building. The build is successful, and then it's trying to delete the repository, but repository is not there, then it will try to create it. So the creation process is successful. So then if you refresh, you can see the repository has been created. Now it's uploading the image to that particular repository. So this will take a little while. So I will pause the video from this point, and I will resume once all the images are uploaded to ECR repository. Okay, now it's running the last steps of the uploading process. So we can see all the repositories are created now, and some of them the image upload also is completed, but this one still not. We go this one, yeah, we can see the image is there. It's almost 350 megabytes. So yeah, it's still uploading. Yeah, it was retrying due to some connection failure. You can see only two chunks are being uploaded. Okay, I'll pause the video again and wait a bit. Yeah, now all three images are uploaded to ECR. So our repository is created and images are also there. Okay, so now we are ready to run the CloudFormation script to create the infrastructure for us. So I have a separate bat file defined for that called deploy. So inside that, I'm just calling AWS CloudFormation command to create the stack using a given template. So the template I will explain while this file is executing. So we'll try to hit the uh, execution. So I will deploy that. Okay. Now it's calling three times for three services with different parameters. Okay. So now we can see if you go to CloudFormation and stacks, earlier there was nothing, and if I refresh this, we can see there are three stacks created, and the it's in progress as well. So if I go into a one stack and if I hit events, so we can see there are different things are happening. So we'll try to explain that from the YAML file. So okay, so if I open up the infrastructure.yaml, so this has all the configurations to create my infrastructure. So it's accepting a few parameters like the service name, because I'm using the same script, same YAML file for all three services or any number of services. So you can pass the service name and the image name. So the image names that we have created in previous step. And these things I anyway configured to my AWS account, my IAM user and default VPC. So I haven't created new VPC. I'm using the default VPC and default created subnets. So then in resources section, initially starting with the cluster. So I have created a cluster with the service name appended with cluster. And the task definition is like this. So it's having uh, 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 compatibility in Fargate, and this is my CPU and memory configurations. So I'm using the minimal one because I'm in the free tier. And also execution role and container definitions. In container, I'm referring use this image to create the task. So, and it's going to expose on port 80. And I have created few security groups for container and load balance as well. Then we have the main component, the service component, which is connected to this cluster and the task definition. So this actually it's this part. So the load balancer will connect into this. This is the service, the ECS cluster container. So inside that we have the Fargate container, and inside that we have multiple tasks running. So in service configuration, I have this task definition specified and the cluster definitions specified, and also a few other deployment configurations. So the health checks uh, to make sure the tasks are in healthy state, and also the launch type is Fargate, and also I have specified the subnets uh, to connect into the internet, and also the load balancer. So I have specified a target group, and in target group, so I'm having this health check. Each and every service is exposed in this health check path. If you go to this health controller, so this health check path is there. So this has to be reachable in order to make sure the load balancer to uh, having the successful connection with this task. Few other configurations of load balancer, and I have HTTP listener. Also, these things are belongs to auto scaling profile. So in auto scaling, I'm using CPU based auto scaling. So for this one, I'm using the target value as 50, which means it will try to keep the CPU load around 50%. If it's increasing, it will automatically spin up new tasks. So the task boundaries 2 and 5, minimum it's 2. Initially it will be created 2 tasks. So and it can go up to 5. So yeah, those are the main things. Finally, I'll output the DNS load balancer name. Yeah, that's pretty much of the configuration. So for all three services, this configuration will be run by changing the service name and the image. So it will create 3 different clusters to run our application. So let's go back and see what is the progress of creation. Refresh this one. Okay, so we can see all 3 stacks are created now successfully. So if we go and see earlier there were no clusters. If I'm going to refresh this one, so I can see 3 clusters created for the authentication and delivery. So if you go to task definition, again, we have 3 different task services created for all 3 services. And if you go to the EC2 dashboard, you can see there are no load balancers at the moment. So refresh this one. So we can see 3 load balancers created for 3 different tasks services. And yeah, so those are the main things, and there are security groups and all the stuff created here. So all other related things are created now. It is ready for testing. So you can see there are 2 tasks running properly here. So if we try to yeah, so it's done. Okay, So I'll come to this point later. So if you try to hit these endpoints using Postman, so I'll open up the Postman instance. So I need to get the load balance DNS. So for authentication, this is the DNS. So I have a different Postman test suite configured for this, and I'm having environment specified. So inside that, for I'll update the DNS names. For authentication service, this is the DNS name. So I'm copying that, and for authentication, so next is delivery. We go to delivery. This is the DNS for delivery. And the last one is order. We go to order in DNS, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay. So now I'm going to update this one. So the environment is updated. Now if we try to hit the health endpoint of order service, let's see whether it's returning something. Okay. Service is running. So which means order service is up and running properly. So if we go to health service, sorry, delivery service, we try to hit it. Yeah, it's also working. And user service, that is also working. So if I'm trying to hit some more endpoints to demonstrate the database connectivity, so in order I have a REST endpoint for get all orders. So as I mentioned, this database I have configured in a central EC2 instance. So all three services are connecting to the same database. If we need, we can have different services, different database services as well. But for the demonstration purpose, I'm using a single database. So I'm trying to hit this get all endpoint. So that now this service is connecting to the database and trying to retrieve the values. Okay. So I have predefined orders in the database. You can see those are written. So in delivery also, if I'm trying to create a new delivery, so the payload is having something like this, very simple payload. So I'll be creating this delivery. Okay, so you can see the delivery has been created. If I try to track the delivery by the delivery ID, so get an output. Yeah, and for user service also same. If you try to authenticate a user, I have a predefined user the payload like this. So I'll hit that. Yeah, so it's returning true. If I change the password bit, it's return false. The user has not been authenticated. Okay. Yeah, so those are the things from REST endpoints perspective. So we have all the services as mentioned in the assignment, but I demonstrated only few of them. Uh, if we go to the CloudWatch part, you can see if you go here actually in the load balancers. So if I select a single load balancer in the monitoring section, we can see there are few hits. Those are the hits that we just tried for all services, right? Okay, that's pretty much of the uh, endpoints and the environment. So now we can see there are two tasks are running. So if we try to quickly hit one of this service with a load, so let's see how it's going to perform. Okay, so I have JMeter open in my machine, so I'm going to open up save project before, and it's having test endpoints. So I'm going to use one of the service to test this one. So if I try to use order, so this is order equal to endpoint. I'll be trying to configure that one. So the server IP that I copied, and the request is the health endpoint. So, and if you go to the load section, I'm using 1,000 users, concurrent users, and ramping up to 100 seconds, and the loop count is 1,000. So this is fair amount of load to see the auto scaling part as well. So I have a graphical result as well. I'm trying to open the log view as well. Okay. So everything is set up now. I'm trying to start the load testing. So if I hit run here, so you can see now the load is generating, and it's going to hit our order service. So in CloudWatch, you should see the load in few minutes, and also you can watch the running tasks, so if it's increasing or not. Um, if I go here, so I'm going to uh, check the traffic. Okay, I'm using the order cluster here. Yeah. Okay, we can see now this is the order. So we can see the fluctuation of the CPU and memory. So those things we can monitor through the CloudWatch. So now we try to go here. So still it's running only with two tasks. So if we wait a few more moments, so we can see the load is also generating now. So still load is generating, and if we try to see the number of requests, you can see it's getting increased. It's above 100,000 now. Yeah. So, still it can handle with uh, two running tasks. Let's wait for a while again and see whether the number of tasks are getting increased or not. Okay, if we try to get this order cluster CPU utilization and memory utilization, so we can see how it is changing. Now we can see it's going up to 93%. So now it should trigger auto scaling part as well. So if I try to refresh this, okay, now we can see it's trying to scale it up to 4 tasks. So if you go to events, we can see it's detecting the load, and it's trying to increase the number of tasks as well. Yeah, so still it's 2, but it's trying to increase it. Okay, now there are 2 pending tasks. So you can see, yeah, so there are 3 running tasks now. It's reaching up to 4. I think should go up to 5. So if you see the load now, you can see still the load test is running. Yeah, so it will take, since I put 1000 loop count, it's generating the load for a while, and we can see the scaling part as well. Yeah, so there are 4 running instances now. So that's pretty much of mainly the demonstration. So I will put everything in my report. So I have specified all the stuff and the location to the source code. So everything is in the source code repository, and also link to this video as well. Yeah, that's pretty much of. Thank you.